Hello and welcome to our 13th COVID-19 market update with Thomas Caldwell. Today is October 1st, 2020, and it's been about 28 weeks since we started social distancing, self-isolating. Tom, can you believe that it's October 1st already?
Yes, time goes quickly, particularly when you're my age.
So there's a new survey that came out and said a lot of investors are having sleepless nights, and it isn't because of the markets, it's because of the presidential election. So let's just jump right in and talk about the debate.
Well, first off, I don't see it as a debate. It was sort of a performance. It was like Real Politicians of Washington. The interesting thing to debate, for me at any rate, is how each of the candidates portrayed themselves. The content, the facts, the points scored, all irrelevant because most of it's fabricated anyway. And even the policies proposed are going to get watered down no matter who ends up in the White House. I think the goals each party had were quite interesting. The goal of Mr. Biden was to show up, show his brain still worked. He was not, non-compos mentis. He was able to go toe-to-toe for a prolonged period of time, which would be hard for anybody, and still stay on message. He achieved that goal. He showed the American public that he wasn't past his sell-by date. President Trump's goal was to show up and be presidential. He failed miserably at that goal. He showed himself as uncontrollable, arguing with Chris Wallace. For him, it was not a good night. As far as I'm concerned, there may not have been a lot of voters in the sliver changed, but I think Trump, if he could have had a knockout blow, showing that Mr. Biden couldn't handle it, he would have won. But it turned out, I think, the other way. So I think it was in favor of Mr. Biden, and I think his chances have improved significantly.
So we have COVID. We have an election. Let's talk about the markets.
Well, there's a lot going on, and clearly we have COVID. COVID is one area of focus. Are we going to have a vaccine? Is it going to be effective? Should you be taking it? What's the time frame here? When are we going to, is it going to last? Is it only going to be good for a month or a year or whatever? So there's a lot of uncertainties, and everybody has their opinions on COVID and the lockdown, should it continue. I have my opinion of it, but my opinion is just as bad as pretty well everyone else's. So we just have to work our way through it, do the precautions we can, but still the market is concerned about this because the longer the shutdown goes, the more difficult it will be to restart an economy, and we may never get it back to a level, at least not for a reasonable period of time. We're not courting with recession coming out of this. We're now courting with potential depression. So that's a concern to markets. Presidential election too, because each party is trying to convince voters that if the other one wins, the world as we know it is going to end. And it'll be terrible, destruction, famine, pestilence, etc. So there's a lot of these types of concern. There's the debts being created, certainly in Canada and also the US. Does that mean taxes? What kind of taxes? What are people going to do to protect themselves? So these areas of uncertainty span even a broader amount than that. But the basic point I look at, I tend to look at the present situation and then try to look ahead. Investing is about the future. So for me, I think if I were to look back on today, just take today, a year or 2 years from now, I think I will look back, and others will too, seeing this as a time of opportunity. I think it is because there's so much negativity out there. Yes, we have explosions in the narrow stocks, the social stocks, social media stocks, but the whole industry area is still quite underpriced and quite concerned. So I believe it's a period of opportunity.
Thank you so much for your time, Tom.
Thank you.
And thank you all for watching. Bye for now.